that
All
one.
right, everyone, welcome back to the channel.
0%
Glad to be here with you guys. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you to tap on that subscribe button and join us
0%
on
left.
the channel. And also be sure to click on the little bell there on your screen and
0%
set
left.
notifications so that you are notified each and every single time that we publish a new video.
0% left.
Those of you the screen reader, obviously it's not going to be a bell, it's just going to be a button.
0% left.
And it'll say subscribe, and then I think for notifications it's
0%
I
left.
can't remember if it says notification, but you'll figure it out. It's pretty simple.
0% left.
Today, I've got three different pilots that we're going to be
0%
talking
left.
to. Sim pilots. Don't get that mixed up.
0% left.
But we're going to start with Sarah. She's been a sim pilot for a
0%
while
left.
now. I'm not sure exactly how long, but we're going to find out because I've got some questions for her.
0% left.
So we will start with introducing Sarah to
0%
you,
left.
and Sarah, you can just give a short introduction about yourself if you want. Whatever you want to say,
0%
you can.
left.
Whatever you don't want to say, you don't have to. So, anytime if I ask you a question that
0% left.
you're not sure about, we can just move on. No big deal. So
0%
welcome
left.
to the channel, Sarah. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much, and hello to you too.
0% left.
Yeah, and guys, by the way, I'm going to be putting a link down below in the description. As a matter
0%
of
left.
fact, you should see that link right now, and that's going to take you
0%
to
left.
her stream that she does. She does a stream every day. Is that right, Sarah? You stream every day?
No,
0%
Not
left.
every day.
no, I wish I could. I have a job outside of streaming, so I don't have the time, but
0% left.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
No,
So,
for now it's Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
0%
It
left.
used to be Fridays, but that...
okay. Tell us a little bit about the
0% left.
stream. What exactly? What are we going to find when we come and watch you? Like, are you
0% left.
What do you cover on that stream?
We are gonna find...
0% left.
You are gonna find video games. You're gonna find pilot...
0% left.
well, I'm not a real pilot. That is a goal of mine, and we'll get to that. You're
0%
gonna
left.
find flight simming. You're gonna find just a bunch of
0%
miscellaneous stuff in regard to, well, what I do,
0%
basically,
left.
on the stream. Gaming, piloting. I don't know if there
0%
are
left.
some IRL things, but I don't really archive those. Those disappear after the 14 days.
0% left.
Gotcha. Yeah, some stuff is not as
0% left.
as-
Well, and
Yeah.
then some stuff I choose to get rid of, so...
Yeah, gotcha.
0% left.
I'm the same way. I go through. I've done a lot of podcasts.
0% left.
For the last probably 12 years, I've done podcasting. I've done
0% left.
radio, and sometimes
I have you beat by 2 years in
0%
terms
left.
of podcasting.
Yeah, well, if I've been
0%
about,
left.
technically about 15 years, but
Yeah.
I'd say me and you probably around about the
0%
same
left.
time. So let's
About
start
2010.
With, I got some simple questions, I think.
Or something.
0% left.
The first question, Sarah, for you is what got you
0%
started
left.
with the simming and stuff? What
0% left.
What got you involved?
No, to make a long story extremely short, or as
0%
short as I
left.
can, I've always been interested in flying, even though I do not like flying as a
0% left.
passenger. I really can't stand it. You know, oh well, it is what it is.
0% left.
Yeah.
So basically, and now that I know what I know, I really don't
0%
like
left.
flying as a passenger, but anyway. So,
0%
let's
left.
fast forward to about 2000, I want to say
0% left.
13, when I started having dreams.
0% left.
Now, I know this is going to sound very odd, but I sometimes dream the future.
Leaving menu, zoom to move to the
And the future normally isn't great. So, I started
0.
dreaming that someone
Title is
had
lucky.
walked me on
Submenu
the
dialog.
plane.
Yes
I was
button to
in-
activate.
I
Press
was in
spacebar.
the
0% left.
cockpit, and somehow
Lucky
I
heart
was
register. Free card. Reader register.
receiving
Available.
the information that
register.
you would get. At the time, I didn't know what that was. But I was receiving it
Meeting
somehow
controls to
in
move to the language
Braille,
video. Zoom.
and
Ideal flight professional.
I picked up
John
on the
private
mic,
team
and I
top one
was
assessment log notepad.
transmitting. I was doing
One
great,
assessment
and
log.
we were about to taxi, and I woke up.
Top of file.
So I thought, you
Flight
know,
assessment 1720.
I wonder if a blind pilot really can fly. And that has been a goal of mine ever since, and 2016 came. Started playing with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2010. Took a break. 2018. Learned how to use Prepared or Prepar 3D.
Now, was 2010 accessible?
Sorry?
Was
Well,
sort of,
it's
sort of.
doable, but it's very, very annoying. We were using a program at the time called It's Your Plane.
Oh, yep. I've heard of that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I am still working on getting my videos and stuff transferred, but those I probably will not transfer over to the VI Pilot library. Which, do you want me to give you a link to that later?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, definitely give me a link. And you guys, by the time you hear this, you're going to find links down below that you can click on that will take you to different streams. I believe Sarah might be the only one other than myself that actually does streaming. And I'm not sure. We might have. I don't know if Jake or Josh if they do or not. But yeah, definitely give me a link to that.
Okay,
that way they can
so
check that out.
So then I started using MCE, Multi-Crew Experience. I still have it, don't know how to use it. And then I went back to Prepared in 2018, took a break because I ended up in the hospital due to some stuff that happened that I'm still trying to figure out, let's just say.
Well, hopefully you get through it. That's all that matters.
Oh, I will. I will. I'll get through it. Fine. So where did I? Oh yeah. So Prepar, I've been using that. I just got a yoke and a throttle. Got that in January, and I've been actually practicing with that. And like I said, one of my goals one of these days is to actually come up with a way for the blind to fly a real plane. And I believe that through simming, I'll be able to do that somehow. And if I don't, well, at least I have a legacy that I left behind.
That's right. And
if I die trying, well,
exactly. Here's my thing. I'm big about technology, and I believe in technology. I trust technology. You know, it's kind of like most of the stuff today is ran by the computers, right? Like all of your like A320s, 321s, they're pretty much those things they're flying you. You're not flying it. It's flying you. And so
I don't like that very much.
If a sighted pilot can trust the plane to do that, then why can't we trust technology to give us the information that we need to be able to do the same thing? Now, I think,
and that's exactly what a sighted pilot, actually, a real sighted pilot told me a few years ago, that the technology's there.
It's definitely
right now.
there. But I just wonder, I think the biggest fight is going to be people being okay with that. Because you know as much as I do that if you're on a plane, let's say me and you get on a plane, we're passengers, and all of a sudden we got a rumor coming back to us, hey, that the pilot up there, they can't see, they're completely blind. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be concerned. I'm going to say, I sure hope they got everything figured out. But I guess my point is, how comfortable is the sighted community really going to be? Are they really
not very?
Are they going to fly, or are they going to pick a different airline?
If we can get enough, blind people to actually do this and prove that we can do this, even if it never happens in my lifetime, then I think it'll be fine. It's just like with anything else.
I would definitely
who would have thought that the blind person could sim? Who would have thought that the blind person could use an iPhone, etc.?
And you know what? If they said, hey, John or Sarah, we're going to build a plane for you, and we're going to put the talking technology in there, will you fly this plane? I would absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. After I did a lot of training in a simulator, because obviously I'd want the sim.
Hold on a minute.
Yep. I would want the sim to match whatever it is that, whatever plane it is. I'm going to sim.
Can you? I'm so sorry. I'll be right back.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
You're good. Go ahead. I would want the sim to match that, right? And so I would want to do a lot of sim flying and practicing. But I definitely would. So while she's doing that, I'm going to show you guys. This is my latest flight report.
Top of file, flight assessment, 1729, 19/04/2020, 85%.
I got an 85%.
Blank, pilot, John. Blank, flight plan, Reno/Tahoe into Phoenix, Sky. Plan, colon. Reno/Tahoe.
It was Reno
to Phoenix.
into Phoenix.
Distance 541 nm. Airplane, colon, blank, nm, 541 nm.
541. miles.
Blank. Airplane colon. Airbus. A 321 comma.
I'm flying the Airbus
Air. A
A320.
321 comma. Air. China.
Um, so yeah, but so tell me
Sorry.
if it was you, because I already said that I would do it. What would be your steps before you sit in that seat to fly that plane? What would you do?
Well, I need to actually think about that. First of all, I think I would familiarize. Well, if it's a plane that I've flown before, I think I would be okay. But if it wasn't, I would familiarize myself with the controls. I would go to my iPad or whatever is around by then, and I would read a cursory glance, at the checklists, and make sure.
I mean, I would want the sim to be exactly what the plane is that they built.
Yeah,
and put
exactly.
together, but
Exactly.
after training for several hours, I would definitely do it. Definitely. No.
Oh yeah.
No
I mean,
questions asked.
if I was asked to fly a plane very much last minute, like these pilots often are, then that we're talking about something different.
Totally different. But if it's a plane that I did fly or that I know,
Oh
go.
heck yeah, I would do it.
yeah, let's go.
Let's
right?
go. Let's do it.
It's kind of like I've heard a lot of negative talk about the Google car. I trust the Google car. I would get in it. I trust technology. The thing we got to remember is that technology can fail on us just like anything else. And so,
Just like humans.
who says that a human can't mess up behind behind the yoke, right?
I could die flying that plane.
And same with a fully sighted pilot flying, they could make
Oh, yeah.
the same mistake and
Sure.
cause the same accident as what we would. It's no
Or they could
different.
drop dead, through some really bizarre circumstances, and that's it. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. So
things
all right, so
happen.
we know where you started. We know what your thoughts are on flying, and I like that you've got this mission of wanting to see something like it happening, and I'm behind you 100% on that. It's just a matter of all the steps that we got to go through to try to make it happen.
Yeah.
But it takes one person, the right person, to be connected with the right company to say, we're going to fund this and we're going to try to make this happen. I would do it.
That's
I would
finding that
definitely do
company that's going to be.
That's going to be the trick. But I think it's doable. I really
I
do.
think so, especially
so-
now.
With that said, you've been simming for a while now, and what is your favorite thing about flying?
Well, at least for now, especially now, I pretty much fly to decompress. Okay, I know that sounds like an oxymoron. Right.
It's all right. I'm relaxed when I fly.
I am too. Not on
how I
takeoff
get
or
away.
landing. Not on takeoff or landing, but
Once we're at
once
cruising
I'm at
altitude, right?
once we reach cruising, I'm fine. I'm relaxed. I'm sometimes asleep. Don't tell enough.
I've done that. I've done that.
So, but it's my favorite thing right now, and in these times, especially now, I'm flying to decompress. I'm flying to de-stress, and I like it. Once I push forward on that throttle, have the autopilot, pull back on that yoke, I hear positive rate, put the gear up. If I'm flying offline, reach cruise, whatever. If I'm flying online
Yeah.
after I'm panicking and going, oh my god. Once I reach cruise and I'm fine, I can just kick back, relax, and
Enjoy
do whatever
yourself.
I need to do. And it's great. I love it.
All right, so one last question for you. As a simmer, as a sim pilot, what would you say that would be an encouragement to encourage others to join us that might be visually impaired or completely blind that really like the idea of flying and stuff, but they've not done it yet? What would you say to encourage them? I You know,
Well,
we
it's
say
kind
it's
of
a lot of
a
fun.
yeah,
That's all I
well,
can say. It's a lot of fun.
well, it is, but that's kind of a tough question because I was trying to actually encourage someone until they found out, oh, it's not free. I'm interested, but no thanks.
Yeah, you know, I told people
And
before it does cost, but you know what? It's
you
worth
can
it.
buy the add-ons over. Well, actually, we don't. It's going to cost, but that might sort of end up changing in the next few months. Um, so basically, it is going to cost, but you can start by buying prepared
There's
for
a lot
now
of
at the time of
add-ons you
this
don't
at the
gotta
time
buy,
of this
right?
recording.
Like you can buy
Uh,
the add-on for Prepare,
you
or
can
you can
buy
buy
the
Prepared. You can buy Ideal Flight. You don't got to buy
you can buy the
multi-crew,
add-ons
all that
later.
stuff. Yeah.
You can buy the add-ons later. I started with Prepared and FSX Pilot, and it was the worst thing that I have ever used. I'm going to be
Yeah.
very blunt. It is the worst thing
Yeah.
that I've ever used.
Yes, FSX
Well,
Pilot is a pain in the
it's
butt.
free. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to fly free and you don't want to pay for your subscriptions, fine. But if you really want the true experience over time, over months, over years, whenever you can, when you put $1 in the tip jar, or whatever it takes,
Yep.
buy the add-ons over time, like Active Sky, like FS Tramp, or whatever is going to be out there after this recording, because this is now, like Ideal Flight, and like whatever's going to work with the new simulator that's coming out, which you can find videos on YouTube about that, by the way. At least people describing them. So buy the add-ons over time, have fun with it, relax. It is stressful. At times it is stressful, and your heart rate will be skyrocketing, but it is totally worth it. In fact, I'm going to be doing a cargo run after this interview, and I'm going to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, you know, I see so many people that do complain about having to buy this and buy that, but listen,
I'm one of them.
I don't like to have
At
to spend
times.
money neither, right? I mean, and I'm the same way. But for this, guys, I've only been flying a little over a month, maybe about 6 weeks, something like that. And everything that I've bought, my gosh, the multi-crew, I bought that. I bought the, what's the other one called for your ground crew and stuff?
GSX?
GSX. I bought both versions of that, the first one and the second one. And you know what? The most important ones that you really need, you need to have Prepare and Ideal Flight. Ideal Flight's
That's
not
it.
a must. You don't have to have that, but it's going to make your life much easier.
Well, and an
easier.
autopilot that works.
Yeah, yeah. Because Tramp is also something that you got to have. You got to have Tramp. Without Tramp, you're not going to fly. You're just not going to fly. Maybe
Unless you have some
experience.
sight, but
Yeah. And some experience.
you're not gonna.
Right.
Yeah, it's. I like it. I mean, I really do. It's worth it. I mean, it's.
At
I
the
can't
end of the
describe it
day,
any other
it's
way.
my way of getting away too. You know, I between college and work and everything, when I step into the cockpit and I take off, cruising altitude, I'm
Yep.
relaxed, and I'm.
I mean,
right
when I
where
push
need to
that
be.
key and I say ready to receive IFR, it feels good.
Yeah,
I might stumble or whatever, but it feels really good.
yeah, exactly, and
Meeting controls to move
you
to
know,
an item, press the
like,
arrow key. Semi
it's about having fun
one
too,
assessment log notepad to
right?
resume.
Like it's
Yep.
Ideal
about
Flight Profession. John Pilot,
having
please act. Star
fun,
Untitled Notepad.
and
AA Virtual.net Smart Cars.
if you don't
Meeting
try
controls.
it,
More
you're
button
never
drop.
going to know how good you're going to be at it. And nobody starts out perfect. I promise you. That. We all mess up. We all laugh at each other. But at the end of the day, we're all there to help
Semi-terminated
each
locked out
other.
of the server.
So,
Oh
you know, it's worth trying out. Hopefully, we can do more of these interviews in the future.
yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us.
Hey, anytime, and I'll get you those
encouragement
links.
to others.
Excuse me.
Yep, get those links. And by now, you guys, you should see them links down there in the description. If not, just check back. They will be there. Alrighty. So I'm going to grab the next person. I'm going to pause the interview for a minute. after I
Dr.
find the
Bottom
right
button. More
button
button. Drop down.
here we go. All
It's
right.
over there.
So, Sarah, it was nice meeting you, and yeah,
Nice
hopefully,
meeting you. Well, I mean, I already know you, but for the purposes of this video, yeah,
Yeah,
nice
exactly.
meeting you too.
Master Jake left
Exactly.
select index. Master Jake
I
logged
don't know
onto
why I
the
said
server.
that, but
Master Jake
yeah,
logged onto the server.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, nice meeting you too.
So hold on. All right, you guys, we are back again here, and I've got the second person in for this short interview. And Jesse, I'd like to welcome you to the channel. Thank you for taking the time to do this short interview. I know it won't be too long. Just a couple questions, and then that way I think you got him some ribs getting ready to mow down on. That sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah, let's see
Barbecued,
how they
listen,
come out.
barbecued. If they're barbecued, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. My daddy's making them like slow, like what is it, slow cooked or something?
yeah, that's the best way to make
Yeah.
them things. So, anyways, guys, we got Jesse here. Jesse is another sim pilot, and Jesse. I'm going to let you give a short description, about yourself and kind of what got you started. So, it's all
Well,
yours.
my name is Jesse. I am, as he said, I am visually impaired, and I got started basically, believe it or not, I got started in with Eurofly, which is another flight sim. It's a totally blind flight sim, and I started hearing little by little about Flight Simulator and Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm like, what is this? And about It's Your Plane, and I'm like, what is this stuff? And I thought it was, flight simming is boring. I'm not gonna like it. And I gave it a shot. I downloaded FSX Steam Edition, and then I got It's Your Plane, and I started fiddling around with it. I'm like, you know what? This could be kind of fun. It's a little bit of a learning curve.
Right.
And then I moved over to Prepar, and I've been there ever since, and trying my best to help out the simming community in whatever I can,
Yeah.
little by little.
Yep.
You know.
And I think that's what it's all about. Is we're just here to have fun, but help each other. I can't think of a time when any of us as a sim pilot, if one's having trouble, I can't think of a time when nobody's there to help. Like, the only way you're not going to get help is if you're not asking, right? Like, if you're not asking, then we're not going to know, and obviously we can't help you. But so you've been simming for a while. You talking about this other simming that you was doing, or what was that called?
Yeah, with the Eurofly.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
is that? What is Eurofly?
It is a simulator. Well, it started out as mainly as an atlas for this visually impaired guy. He's from Slovakia, I think. He made it for a group of friends of his, I guess to learn about the countries or something. And somebody, I guess, suggested, hey, why don't you make this into a flight sim? And he made it into a flight sim. You can do different task packs and stuff like that. It's very simplistic. I mean, it does have runways and everything, but it's very simplistic. I mean, I use it sometimes just for giggles, just when I want to sim and it's something like quick and dirty.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. It's really cool. Maybe one day in the future I might do a demo for your channel or something if you want, just for people to know what it is.
It sounds like that there is something that more makes it easier to fly and stuff, because it's already all been preset.
Yeah, it's more for like, okay, it's for a beginner. It's for a beginner. It's free. It's free of charge. And like I said, if you want, one of these days, I can probably go on your channel or something, and I can try to give you guys a demo.
I think they would enjoy that.
Yeah,
and I think it'd give a good idea to show people the difference between that and what we do now, because over here, when we step into the sim, it's all about skill. It really is. If you don't know what you're doing,
oh no,
you're not going to fly.
Oh no.
It's just not going to work out. I mean, you might get off the ground, maybe.
Oh no,
I
of
doubt it,
course.
but
No, no, of course. Maybe who knows? Maybe later on tonight he might have a surprise on his channel for all of your viewers.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe later on tonight, maybe tomorrow, I'll whip up something along with John here, and we can. Besides, maybe you might learn a thing or two.
Yeah, you never know. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so with that said, before you do get pulled out of
Yeah.
here,
Oh, no, go
um,
ahead. Go ahead.
what would you say that if someone's never done it and they're interested in doing it, um, what would be your advice when they get started?
When they get started in general
In
simming, or if
general,
they're gonna,
if
okay,
they've never been in a sim but they're ready to just jump in and do it.
if they're ready to jump in, let's say you're ready to jump in, let's say with pre-par, you mean like with
Yeah,
pre-par
with
or
free
F?
par.
Okay,
Let's
so
just
if
say free
you're
par.
ready to jump in with pre-par, first of all, do a lot of, I cannot specify this enough, read, 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 read.
Yeah.
You don't have to have like aviation knowledge. Some might be preferred, but you don't need to like be like a hardcore professional pilot. But you might want to do a little bit of reading in terms of flight planning,
Mm-hmm.
and even if you want, even watch YouTube videos or
There's all
Facebook
kinds of them,
videos,
guys.
or
There is.
just so that you can learn, even if it's from a sighted user's perspective, but at least watch and listen, listen to what the airplane does, listen to how things are done. If you're gonna get into ATC, just listen a lot. And you know what? When you come into the world of simming, don't be overwhelmed. You can take it a little bit at a time. Even if you have to start, flying a little Cessna thing over and over and over
Yep.
until you can get it right.
That's what I started
And
out with a Cessna.
any questions, you can always ask us. Or if you're a sighted simmer, I mean, I don't know. If you're a sighted simmer and you're interested in knowing how blind people sim, don't be afraid to ask.
Yep. We're
I
here to
mean,
answer them
don't be
questions.
don't be scared. We're not gonna bite only when we're hungry.
That's right. That's
But
right. When there's being barbecued ribs being
yeah,
made, the one thing
yeah.
that I
Hmm?
think would be one good tip for people is that
Mm-hmm.
when you get into flying and you
Mm-hmm.
find that one plane that you like, learn that plane. And I mean learn it.
Oh yeah.
Learn every
Learn it, learn
sound
it,
that it
learn it.
makes, every move that it makes, because you're going to know something's off. You're going to know.
Oh yeah. Oh
I've
yeah.
been flying the 320 for a while now, but my go-to plane out, at the end of the day, my go-to plane is the goodness gracious, seven. I don't know. That's hard to say.
747,
The
737.
737-800 is probably
Nice.
my best one. I've got a 737-800 that when you fly that thing, like it really does really good. It's really a good beginner plane because it does a lot of stuff for you. Your airspeed, hold, and stuff like that. It does it automatically. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess what I'm saying is learn the plane. Learn the plane.
Oh yeah,
You
learn it,
know,
learn it. Once you pick your favorite, try to learn it. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not okay to try out different planes until you get
yeah,
used
because
to one.
you're gonna try other planes. We do it all the time.
Yeah, but once you're used to that, and now when there's gonna be a new player on the market now called FS20,
I'm
which
so ready
that's
for
gonna
that.
be a little bit more challenging because those planes are gonna mimic, supposedly they're gonna mimic the real counterpart. So if you thought that you if you fly a plane through a storm, that thing's gonna struggle and it's gonna want to go down and it's gonna fight you and it's gonna be like, I'm gonna go down and you're gonna have to fight with it
That's why
to
you're going to have
keep
to
it
learn to
up.
fly around them storms and learn GPS and
And
all that because
mm-hmm.
that new sim that's coming out is going to be very dedicated to
It's
matching
gonna
everything about a
be
real plane.
groundbreaking. And yes, and I'm telling you, Johnny, when that sim comes out, I'm gonna be one of the first ones to get my hands on it. I do have Xbox Game Pass, so I am
Nice,
gonna get my hands on that sucker. Even if I
nice.
have to get pre-par off of my computer, but I am gonna install that and I'm gonna try to run it, and I'll be testing it for accessibility. I'll be doing a bunch of
I
stuff with
can't
it,
wait till it
just to.
comes out. It's going to be
Oh, me
exciting.
neither.
I've heard a
Me
lot of good
neither.
things about accessibility with it. Um, but at the end of the day, we don't know, right? Like we hear a lot of
No.
stuff. Someone was saying how we're going to be able to talk to, you know, that sim. We get to do that through the new sim and all this. We don't really know that
One,
100%.
yeah, one thing that's really, really impressing me, and uh, one thing that's really gonna be innovative if they get it to work the way that they want to do it, is the sim ATC interacting with real world traffic. Because what you're gonna be able
Oh
to
yeah,
do is you're gonna be able to fly in real world conditions, meaning that you are at, I don't know what airport you take off from regularly, John, or whatever.
Miami,
But
usually
okay,
Miami.
so let's suppose you're at Miami and there's a plane taking off at 12 o'clock. You'll probably hear ATC give that plane a clearance and they're going to fit you in a slot. So you won't be able to ask for clearance until that other plane gets its clearance, etc., etc.
That's amazing. It's
And
it's
another,
it's to
yeah.
be able to up there and be up there flying with the real pilots
Oh yeah,
and
and even John, even from, and I don't know if you saw the series. There's a series on YouTube that you can go watch on. I think it's Microsoft Flight Simulator, where they talk about the multiplayer. I could be at the same airport that you are in the sim, and you'll see my plane at a gateway, at a gate,
that's
and
exciting.
you'll be able to fly. Like, let's suppose that I'm flying and you're taking off from the airport, and let's suppose that you and I are going in the same direction.
Hmm.
We'll be able to see each other, and I think the automated ATC will even warn me of traffic, and it'll tell
Wow,
me your airplane number, and you'll even show up on my display, and I'll be able to see your
airplane and
uh,
stuff. That's
airplane,
guys. That's
and
gonna be some
you know,
exciting
it's
stuff.
it's gonna be fun.
And
It's
I'm gonna
gonna
tell
be
you what,
really
when
fun.
that happens, you're gonna want to come to this channel because whoever probably Jesse here, he's probably going to be doing some stuff. So you'll find videos of it being tested. We're going to bring it to you raw. We're not going to be making nothing up.
Mm-mm.
It'll be just whatever it is. We're going to bring that to you, and I'm excited. I can't wait. So
Oh,
before
me.
we go here, and again, if you want to do that, what you talked about earlier, maybe a little surprise for him tomorrow or something, we can do that. But
Oh
I was
yeah,
going
we
to,
can.
before you
Good.
go,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to those that if they're kind of just behind the line and they're waiting to come aboard? What type of encouragement would you give them? What would you say?
I I would say do it. Do it. Start out small. Start out small. I am gonna say flight simming is not totally free. It can get very expensive very fast.
Yeah, it can.
Start up small. If you have a simulator that has a bunch of planes in it, try to use those defaults, or try to get some freeware, unless if you want to go and buy, payware aircraft.
Yeah, and
But
normally if you join us, we've got planes and planes and planes, and we'll put them up on the
Oh yeah.
server, and
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
And but one important thing is if you can, you don't have to, but if you can, try to get yourself a what is called a HOTAS interface, which is called a throttle and what is it? Throttle and stick combo.
yep, that's what I've got. Yep,
And
you can
it
get it
doesn't
pretty
have.
cheap, 54, 55 bucks.
Yeah, if it,
You know,
I mean, you don't have to go with like, one of the top brands is I think Thrustmaster is one of the good ones, but those are you're already talking about, 100, 200 bucks.
actually, I've got a Thrustmaster, and if they get the same version that I have, you
Hmm.
can get it under 100 bucks, and that's going to be quality. But
Oh, no, 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 no. They're good. They're good. The
yeah,
one I have is extremely good. I got the 16,000
well, that's got the
MS or
pedals and
something.
everything on it, but
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
use the
but it so
pedals. But
happens that it came in the combo. I didn't really want that, but it came in the combo. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna complain about it,
right,
you know.
right, right. But you
But
don't use the paddles as
no,
of right
I
now.
can't.
Yeah,
I can't because of the space. But
it'd be cool to be able to use them, and because
oh
man, it'd be
yeah,
so much different using paddles from.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And the controller it has a really good grip on it. I mean, the joystick feels
Yep,
really good.
they've got some good ones
Um,
out there.
oh
One that I
yeah.
was interested in, but it's not even available. They were out of stock. The thing's got like 50 or 60 different buttons and switches and knobs.
Whoa,
Yeah,
nice.
it looked like the real deal. It had actual turn knobs on
Ooh.
it, all
Oh,
this stuff.
damn. So you can use that in something like DCS World or something like
You could
Combat
even, what I'm thinking,
Simulator.
where some of these knobs are not accessible from
Hmm.
the computer stance, if you've got that kind of console or
Yeah, you could
unit,
probably set it in the key
you could set
config.
it in the key config to operate,
Wow.
and
Yeah, as
now it
long.
becomes accessible.
Well, yeah, as long as Talking Flight Monitor reads it to you.
Yeah, that's true. It might not even read it, but um, again, guys. It just showed you we do a lot of experimenting and testing, and um, last thing I'm going to say before we let Jesse go, that way he can comment on it, is this: um, not every plane is going to be the best. I'll tell you that right now.
No.
Some of them will be nothing but hell to fly.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them can be such a pain, and you will get frustrated. So, what would you say on that note, Jesse? Flying
Oh,
stuff that
that's true. I mean, I've flown planes that are a bear. If you want an example, John, try flying the Star Wars Millennium Falcon at freaking and making that thing stall.
oh my
I
gosh.
mean, that thing. Oh,
Yeah, some of
it's
them.
it's a nice little plane, but it's a bear to fly.
Yeah, and some of the bigger ones, guys, like the 380. It's the
Oh
biggest
yeah,
plane that you can.
I was flying the three. John heard it.
Yeah,
John
that thing
heard
is
that
heavy.
380.
So like on
Mm-hmm.
takeoff, you're probably doing maybe 90, 120 knots on takeoff because it's so
Mm-hmm.
heavy. But it's fun, you guys. So um, yeah, Jesse. Hopefully we'll see you again on the channel.
Oh no, of
Um,
course. Like I said, I mean, maybe later on we can meet up again, John, or something, and we can try to record that.
yeah, we should do that. We should do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And give people some more cool stuff to check out, because
Mm-hmm.
the more that we can bring you guys, we're going to do it, and the more that I can bring on the channel, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
um, Again, down below, if you're watching this, there's going to be links down below. It's going to take you to Sarah's stream. um, and if anybody else ever wants to come on the channel and share information on how to fly, or maybe you got something new that you're doing, we'd love to have you. So, Jesse, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on,
Title is
Oh,
man,
media controls.
sure,
and hopefully we can do that
sure, man.
sometime. So,
Sure.
good. All right, you guys, we have our third person here now that we're doing the interviews with, and matter of fact, he's actually pretty experienced with all this. So whatever he says is pretty, not that anybody else isn't, but if he gives you advice, take it. So Anyways, I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Josh, it's good to have you on the channel. I do want to remind you guys real quick. Be sure to give a thumbs up on this video that we got here today, and also be sure to tap on that subscribe button and join us here. So, Josh, I guess start out by just introducing yourself a little bit. A sort of introduction of yourself.
Okay, so I'm Josh, also known as Orinx on social medias, and I have been into this flight simming hobby for about four years now, and it started in December 2016, and it's pretty much been non-stop ever since. I put a lot of money. I put a surprising amount of money into this hobby, and I'm only just going to put more in as time goes on, because we got new sims coming. We've got new we've got new add-ons coming. We got new accessibility coming, hopefully. So I'm stoked for the future. I'm excited to see what the future holds, and it's especially 2020, 2021. It's going to be a pretty big year for simming.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see what they've got in store, because it seems like it's only getting better. It's not. I don't think it's going the other direction, but
yeah, it's definitely getting better. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to take it. Us as blind simmers have not been able to take advantage of the current advancements in simming, because a lot of that has to do with the study level or high-end aircraft that payware developers such as Aerosoft, PMDG, like you name it, we haven't been able to take advantage of all those. So we've been, negated to freeware aircraft, which in most sighted simmers or our peers is antiquated and old school, and it's not really used. Like people think you're crazy when you're using the aircraft that we're using right now. But it's
the only choice.
What we got to do.
Yeah, it's if it's our only choice, and I think I made that mistake by buying one of the payware ones before. It's one of the
new
Aero
Microsoft
ones, I think.
the new Microsoft Flight Sim is going to add the payware functionality to the default aircraft in that particular sim, which is a first for simulators.
Yeah.
I just hope that that's accessible, because if it is, that's I'm gonna just uninstall prepared, because
Yeah, even with as much money as we've dumped into this, even me as a new simmer doing this, as I've dumped a little bit of money into it. But that's the thing, we were talking about that earlier, Josh, is that if you're going to get involved in this, particularly this, you cannot come in and expect not to pay anything, because it's
you get what you pay for, and in this in simming, that's it really holds true, because if you if you go with the stock prepared aircraft, you won't be able to go through virtual airlines,
right,
because
they don't even accept
you
them,
can't you can't fly fighter planes on airlines, so you can't.
Right.
Right. So basically, that is essentially what we have available to us in the stock sim is not even acceptable to virtual airlines, or even and all of our add-ons that we use after the sim, after Tramp or your autopilot add-on, that's all you really need to fly. If that's all you want to do is fly, you don't want to do any virtual airlines, whatever.
Yeah.
Then all the rest of the stuff is enhancements. Active Sky, and it's an enhancement to weather. GSX, it is enhancement to ground handling. Um, Ideal Flight as well. I mean, that might be another essential add-on to get after you get the sim, because
There's a multi-crew. You know, that's
there's
another.
there's multi-crew experience.
Mhm.
That's like another enhancement that is.
And I've used it some, not a lot, but I have used it.
Yeah, it's multi-crew experience does have its advantages. Advantages definitely,
Yeah.
but there's also some disadvantages as a blind simmer. Mainly that multi-crew experience is designed for, yet again, those high-level aircraft.
Yep. Yep.
So I mean, we're limited by that.
And it's, also, obviously I'm not telling anyone not to use multi-crew, but I would, if you're gonna get into simming, do your simming and get used to things before trying to just like, don't jump into simming and grab multi-crew the next day, because you're gonna need to know,
no.
you got to know what you're doing before you start, giving multi-crew basically orders on what you want it to do.
Yeah.
Which I do like it, and it's, if you want all these different things, you're going to spend money to do that. But like Josh said, if you're just going to do it just to fly and not,
If you're going to fly and just fly, you don't want to do virtual airlines. What you could do, you can get Ideal Flight, and then you'll have a decent weather engine without Active Sky. If you don't want to get Active Sky,
does
get
that give you
Ideal Flight.
accurate weather?
It gives you realistic weather, but it doesn't give you like real world weather.
Okay. So the
It
weather
does
is
give you-
realistic the way it does it, but it's just not
Yeah.
what's going on now. Yeah.
You have Ideal Flight, which is a pretty realistic planner. You'll get good plans out of it if you don't want to buy anything. So all you gotta do is buy that, have the sim, and then download freeware aircraft, and that's a good simming setup. But I mean, there is
Yeah.
more available.
If anything, I would say, if I was to suggest or recommend anything at all out of all of it, I would really recommend you to get Ideal Flight. Josh is the one that got me to get it, told me about it, and I didn't.
And then
really,
our friend Brandon got it, and
Yeah.
he's addicted to it. And
the first day I got it, I mean, hands down, first day I got it, what was it, nighttime, Josh helped me, and it made a huge difference. It just makes things a lot easier.
I will caution though that if you're using JAWS, do not
Jesus,
do not try to generate a flight plan with JAWS enabled.
no,
Uh,
no. Now, JAWS 20 on the other hand,
JAWS 20 actually does work when you enable and generating flight plans. It doesn't crash.
so far, but
So far, okay.
But again, I'm using an older system, and once I get my my new computer, I'll be able to tell you if it's JAWS causing it or is it my computer, because sometimes it doesn't crash at all. Other times, as soon as I load a flight plan, and it's weird, it doesn't do it. So you know how there's like two steps to when you load a flight plan, Ideal Flight, like, right, you load it, it gets it all ready, like it asks you if you want to override all that, and then it gets it ready, and then you hit enter on it again, and it will load
The simulator, yeah.
So it's not from when it loads the sim, it's not the second process, it's that first process when my computer
When it can crash, yeah.
Yep. And I don't know if it's because I think it's done it with NVDA too. So
No, it doesn't do it with NVDA. It only does it with.
no, I'm saying
Well,
my computer's crashed when I've used both. Is what I'm saying. Like when
if you have JAWS installed and if that driver is enabled, that accessibility display driver is enabled, it will crash with NVDA on. You have to turn that driver
what?
off.
I need to make. I bet that driver's still on, and maybe that is why. So guys, as of right now, look, just don't. You need to disable that driver, and maybe me and Josh should do a video showing you how to do that, because if that is the case, and I bet it is, I bet that driver of mine from where I installed the new Jaws 20, I bet it put that driver back on there.
It put it back. Yeah, it turned it back on. Yeah.
I'm gonna Shuki if this whole time that's what it's been. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
So
Shuki all day.
I'm gonna be shooting all day, all night, technically, because it's nighttime now.
Yeah.
So Jess, let me ask you. I've been asking all the pilots this, and I get different answers, and that's what I want. For someone new coming in, what would be your best piece of advice for them to really get involved in and be able to learn and actually, not get in it, and then they're like, oh, I can't do this, and they just give up because some people, they want to do all this stuff too fast, and then next thing you know, they're like, well, I don't like it.
The best, well, the biggest advice that I could possibly give is you just can't give up in this hobby. It's just that there's no, it doesn't it doesn't tolerate quitters.
Jesse suggested a lot of reading too.
Yeah, and a lot of reading, definitely a lot of trial and error. I mean, we've definitely had a lot of our trial and error landings and bounces and landing on the water unintentionally.
You join and come up here, we've got stories for you. I guarantee it. All of us. And like I said though, if you come up here and you don't ask for help, we're not going to know, and we're not going to help you. We're not going to know to help you. You got I guess what I'm saying. Don't.
I will say this. Don't ask for too much help. Don't. There are some
don't
people
overwhelm it.
Who will not learn, will not read, will not learn, will not try to adapt, and will just ask for help and ask the same questions over and over again.
Yeah, repetitively.
And then they still don't learn even when you help them. So just read and learn and try to figure things out. If you still can't figure it out, then ask for help. And hopefully your questions, you can frame your questions because you've done some reading and you've done some research, and try to figure it out on your own so that you know the question to ask.
And I'll tell you that what it really helps somebody, because it's what I do, it's what I did from the start. Take notes. Like, seriously, it might sound stupid, but take notes. I did it the first day that Josh and Brandon was teaching me. I was telling them, hold on, man, let me write this down. Like, literally, I wrote it down. And, they said I've probably been the one that's learned the quickest, but I learned quick because of notes.
Master Jake logged onto the server.
Because of not being repetitive. We've had people, not
Master
many,
Jake joined channel flight sim mask.
but we have had them where they've came up, every little move they make, they're wanting to know, well, what do I do here? What do I do? A lot of that stuff you're gonna learn by reading and by when you are being taught, by paying attention and write it down. Who cares if even if it's a silly little 3-word thing that you're writing down, write it down if you got to remember it. I mean, I don't know. To me,
write it down and
all the time.
And yeah, I mean, there's gonna be there are tons of pitfalls in this, especially for us. There are tons of pitfalls, and you just gotta know. Especially with the software that we use, a lot of it is custom.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it has custom controls, custom interface, with a lot of developers not like desiring to really make changes, so we have to just simply adapt to them.
Yeah.
So that's what we've done.
And I mean, we've got to. Bottom line, we got to make it work, and sometimes that means, we might have to do things a certain way just to be able to use a piece of software. But I mean, it's all about just trying different things and finding what works and what doesn't. But like you said, don't come up and do it for a week and then just give up, because if that's the case,
then you just wasted $60 on a simulator
Yeah.
potentially $70 an ideal flight.
Look,
You
at
know,
one day I spent, I don't know the exact dollar, but I know it was over $100 easy because I bought like, remember the
at
one
least
day I,
$150,
yeah,
$200.
because I bought like 3 things in one day, and which I'd already said I was going to do it, but to me it's worth it.
But that you know, I mean, you spend that much money, that should commit you. That should
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, that should commit you. You went in hard on this hobby, and so it, you know.
yeah. When I got started, you guys, I was serious about it from the beginning. I'm still serious about it. You know, if Josh is teaching me something, I'm not sitting there doing anything else. So meaning I have nothing else going on, right? When he's teaching me, there's nothing else going on. I've even got my phone. I mute it. Other programs, if it don't have to do with what he's showing me, that's how serious I take it because you got to know what you're
Put
doing.
it on, yeah. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb when
Yeah,
you're learning all this.
and I mean, like when you get in the cockpit and you take off, bottom line is you're going to want to know how to fly, and if you don't pay attention, you're going to be up at cruising altitude. Something happens, you're not going to know what to do, and then what? Like no one's there to save you when you're at 40,000 feet or 38,000 feet. You know, so
40,000 feet and descending rapidly and stalling
yeah.
at that.
I mean, I've had it, but of course, thankfully, to me paying attention with learning how to do different things, I've had it where an engine stalled out on me, but I didn't have my settings fixed to where problems wouldn't occur. But you can land with a bad engine, but point being, you got to know what you're doing. Like you can't just jump in and take off and think that you're going to fly, and that I don't need no help. You're going to need help. You're going to need training. I guarantee it.
You're, yeah, especially in. Well, it depends on the plane you're flying too. If you're flying a prop, like
Oh yeah,
a small like
yeah.
thing versus like a jet.
Mhm.
Um, I always joke with another one of our BVI pilots about the fact that he thinks that flying jets are easier than props, which
Wow. Yeah.
they're jets are actually way harder because they're bigger.
There's a
I
lot
mean
more to them.
they train pilots in props, so
Hmm.
yeah,
There's just
um,
a lot more to it. A lot more to a
yeah.
jet. With a prop, you've got.
With a prop, it's almost like a car, it's like the mindset of a car. You get in, you start it up. I mean, you do the startup checklist, and you can taxi the runway and fly. There's no You don't follow the plan for the most part.
Yep.
You just kind of fly around. It's called VFR, virtual flight rules, and you fly around, and you fly around 3,000, well, up to 9,000 feet. You can go in VFR rules, and you just fly around and just land wherever you want.
Yeah, and like with
And
a jet, you got to have. I mean, everything's being programmed in.
yeah,
You've got your auto throttles. You've got all these different things that you got to adjust. Um, there's a lot of stuff, and so I'm with Josh on that. Like, I think a jet takes more to learn, more stuff you got to know about, but
yeah.
um, they are fun to fly. I do enjoy flying the jets. To me, a prop would get boring because it's just the same. I don't know.
I like flying VFR, especially like on VATSIM. There's not a All you're literally doing is just flight following. So you're just like acknowledging that the controller has you, and you're not.
Mhm.
Um, you don't have to like be vectored or anything like that. You can just
If and
fly.
another thing that'll help people learn, if you're really into learning, even if you're not going to do VAT sim, they've got all kinds of training stuff on their page that teaches you some simple stuff like learning how they talk and stuff. But there's some other stuff on there too that just teaches you the basics of
There's a
flying.
nice tutorial on how to read MEDAR reports for weather.
Hmm.
Uh, I found that useful.
Yeah, because
They
I
do
didn't even
explain. They
understand
do
weather. I didn't
explain.
even understand what it meant by, like when you do right bracket shift I, it gives you your weather, and in the beginning I didn't understand what that stuff meant. It said like 382 22 0, and I'm like, wait, is that what I'm flying? But
Yeah. Um, but yeah, they're pretty like good with the basics too. They got demonstrations, like really good explanations on what IFR is, what VFR is, and how it relates to VATSIM, stuff like
yeah,
that.
and if you do get into that Sam, don't come on it being a clown, because they take it very
And
serious.
don't come on it being a newbie, like wet behind the ears in the cockpit, because
Yeah,
they're not going to
you're gonna
tolerate
have
it.
problems. Yep, you got to know. The only reason I did VAT simming so quickly was just because I was learning it. Like I was really learning it. Like if you just come in though, and last week, for example, you come in, but a week ago is when you started getting into cockpit.
You're not
They're
going to have very good success on
Yeah,
VATSIM, I'll
they're
say that.
and they're gonna get aggravated, and I mean you might even get yourself reported, or you don't want none of that. It's to have
Yeah,
fun, but they take it very serious. They treat it like the real thing. So,
they really do.
um, I guess my last question for you, Josh, is what would you say that out of all this, that what keeps you going? What keeps you into it?
Um, I think I don't know, just I kind of like the community. That well, I mean, then speaking of getting into it, I have gotten out of it a bit this week. I just haven't been flying this week in
Yeah,
particular,
I think we all
but
do that sometimes. Take a little bit of a
but
breather.
but but I mean, what's going to keep me going is, I mean, virtual airlines are fun to fly with. There's going to be an event on the 25th on AA Virtual, where we're flying. It's gonna be a Philadelphia and Boston are doing this hub event. So I mean, I may or may not participate.
Could you
We'll see what
imagine a newbie
happens.
trying to fly VAT sim with an event?
Oh yeah, that's good luck with that one. Remember, I don't know if you remember, Johnny, but there was a newbie. Um, it may have been like Brandon or something doing this, but like there was a newbie, like, and he was like, you could tell he was a newbie because he didn't know how to, speak on frequency, and there was, we were curious about, we thought it was a blind pilot because it's like, man, this guy is acting like weird for just somebody, right? And no, he just knew the VATSIM and had no idea, and he was in, doing like Friday Night Ops or something, like a big event where they couldn't tolerate that kind of
Yeah, yeah.
behavior.
So I'm gonna let you real quick, because I think it'd be helpful to them to know. Um, give them a couple things. 'Cause I gotta open my door for my dog here. Give them a couple things that they need to do to get started. Maybe just give them some points on getting started, where they might need to go to get this stuff, or what they might not know anything on any of it. And
Well,
I'm gonna try to put some links below too, but listen to what he tells you, because he's going to give you some good advice here. So tell them what they could do, Josh, to get started.
all right. So basically, we've got a site that's under construction now, bvipilots.net. It's got information on all the add-ons that are accessible slash doable, so all the stuff that we use. We've got information on Dual Flight. We got information on we got various tutorials up there, and of course you can get prepared at prepar3d.com, and you can get Microsoft Flight Simulator X on Steam for probably about $10 now.
Now, speaking of
And
prepare, real quick, let me stop you 1 second. Should they get the newest prepare, or should they get 4 for now?
well, I imagine by the time they hear this, Prepared 5 will be like adequate enough to use.
True.
We're still waiting.
True.
We're still waiting on Ideal Flight to support it.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have to wait for that to basically be able to upgrade and like know that everything works.
Yeah.
But yeah, BVIPilots.net is like your hub for the blind pilots, essentially, and you got
Simviation.
any?
That's a good one.
Simviation is a good place to get freeware aircraft. Flyaway simulation is a good place to get freeware aircraft, and in some cases, Rickaroo, RICKOOOO.com, triple O.com, and but even BVIPilots.net is your hub for freeware aircraft that is known to work well as well. We're putting up we're slowly but surely putting up aircraft up there as well.
That's been tested and all that too. So it's kind of
vetted,
good,
yeah.
That's a good spot to go to. So, Josh, I appreciate you doing the interview with us, and then guys, you more likely we'll see him again because I look to do some different stuff up here.
If you want to see I have a playlist on my YouTube channel where I started in December 2016 and it's still ongoing. So I have an entire playlist of every single flight sim video that I've ever put out on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/orinks. If you
You'll
guys
find
want to
that
go
link
there and
below
check
by the
that
time
out.
you're listening to this. There'll be a link down there. You can click on that. There should be a few more links there too. I'm gonna try to put as many as I can down there for you guys. So, so on your playlist, you cover a lot of different flights and
I
stuff.
cover, the beginning videos. It's gonna cover a lot of Plane, which sadly doesn't, no longer exists. But I keep it up for nostalgia, and just because that was what we used before Tramp and
I'm glad to check that out. I've never seen
Pilot.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It was amazing. It was kind of like a cross between Multi-Crew Experience and Tramp. So it was.
Wow.
It's really not.
And now that program is completely just gone, right? Like, or it just.
Nah, it's gone. Yeah, no, it's gone. Like, he messed it up. The offline mode was buggy, and like we can't use it offline.
Oh, okay.
But
That's too
I
bad.
have a lot of videos up there that showcase it.
Yeah. So make sure you guys check that stuff up. Check that stuff out. And again, if you're wanting to get into simming, we'd love to help you out. Like Josh said, just don't be, don't ask a question every 2 minutes because we want to help you. We want you to fly. We want you to have fun. But if you come in and
Don't ask a question every 2 minutes that you already know the answer to, especially if you've already asked it. That's the big thing.
Or you'll catch someone, they'll say something, they'll ask a question, but 5 minutes earlier they just answered that same question.
Yeah.
But so we want you to have fun and we want you to feel welcome, and doing that, this 2 minute every question every 2 minutes, it kind of just turns people the other direction. I don't want to see that happening. Josh doesn't, nobody does. So join us and have fun. That's what matters. So Josh, I appreciate you joining us, man, and until next time, you guys,
it
be
was
sure
great to
to
be here.
click on that subscribe button and join us here. Click on the notifications. Set your notifications so that you are notified each.
Set your notifications to all so that you're
That's right.
notified.
Yeah, I had someone
Every video.
email me and they said, I'm not getting updates. And I said, what do you mean updates? They said, well, I'm not getting emails when you do videos. And I said, did you set your notifications? They didn't set it to all. So yes,
You need to set it to all.
all, you guys, all, not sometimes or whatever it is.
Not personalized.
Yeah, because personalized, it's not going to tell
because
you
because YouTube will tell you when it thinks it's a good idea to notify you of when a new BVI Pilots will upload is.
Yeah, and so it might be 10 videos out that you get a notification.
It'll notify you.
So, all right, you guys take care. It's good to have you guys. Josh, appreciate you, man, and everybody else. Y'all make sure you join us. Get involved. Try it out. It's a lot of fun. And if you are sighted, you got questions for us, we don't mind answering questions. That's what it's all about, to show you that we can do just as much as a sighted person. So, y'all take care. We'll talk to you.